So how about that Rita's, guys?
Rita's is wonderful. It was great.
There should be
Welcome.
Rita's everywhere.
Actually, I could have had that second concrete.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
What would you have gotten though?
I don't know.
Because you got the Oreo one.
I did get the Oreo one
Like
because I mean
crazy.
cookies and cream is my favorite.
But they had Reese's Pieces.
I mean, I like Reese's, but I wanted to go with a favorite.
Yeah, the favorite Reese's Pieces. They had 3 new. I think it's 3.
Yeah, no, 3.
It was 3 or 4.
Is the Reese's pie?
Apple pie or Reese's pie. Yeah.
Reese's pie, and then the Take 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the mudslide.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the mudslide's the same one that's on the normal menu fully, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, right? When you can just update a menu, just with some.
A few
Click.
clicks and
Click.
clicking a slide.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just on the screen. It's like every time we go, the ice menu changes.
That's true. Anyway, welcome to Toddy Rap. This is where we talk about our favorite Italian ice chains. I'm Rita's.
I'm Zeps. Haha, bitch. I bet you can't think of another one. Those are the only 2. He's Luigi's.
I was gonna say
Okay.
Giuseppe's.
Because I said Zeppies. Zeps.
But
I
Giuseppe's
said
totally
Giuseppe's.
different.
What's Giuseppe's?
No. But
No,
Google it later.
but you know that the stuff we get from Walmart.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's Luigi's.
The stuff that like you put in the fridge and the sugar separates.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Toddy Rap. I am Forrest.
The Ed boy.
And I'm Bob.
And today
Back
we're-
at it again.
Finally. We tried to cancel you.
I know.
Yeah.
Or we'll try a different person next week.
Let me
We'll
do
kinda
an
rotate.
apology video.
I mean, I kind of liked having little Guillermo here, but it's okay, Bob. It's good to have you
no one's
back.
stopping you from bringing him over.
It's good to have you
He's
back.
gone. You came back and you scared him off.
Yeah, you scared him off, dude.
I canceled Guillermo.
Yeah, you canceled Guillermo.
Anyway, today I guess we'll be talking about just a lot of random shit. We'll probably talk about a few movies we saw. And, we can start with Get Over Here and
You
Enter
think-
the Iceman behind me.
The Iceman?
Enter the Iceman, dude.
Do you think if we write Guillermo, he'll like talk to us for like 5 minutes?
I don't
Maybe.
know, maybe.
Have you written to what's his name yet?
No, we don't have to post it.
Oh. Look, I'll get it
You
this
need,
week.
you need that for the other thing.
I'm like,
That's more important,
I'm
though.
like, do I send a sticker order or do I write one for
Or do I write to Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage more important.
Oh, okay.
But I guess we'll start off with the movie that is probably the most anticipated for
The big
the
one.
month. I guess
Well,
King Kong and Godzilla?
was that this month?
that was also this month. Or was that last month? Oh, time flies.
Time flies. I mean, it's almost May.
I think it was last month.
Shit. What?
Yeah. Or was it beginning of this month?
It's probably beginning of this month.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
But I remember
Anyway.
those were the 2 movies like back to back coming
Yeah,
out. So
or
obviously Godzilla
import.
Kong and Mortal Kombat.
No. Shut up. We're going to copyright it.
It wasn't,
No
it was,
singing.
It wasn't longer than 7 seconds. We're good.
3 seconds.
That was less than 3 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
We're good.
Sorry, Warner Brothers.
Hope it gets
Please do not
copyrighted.
copyright my video again. Anyway, I'd like to hear what your thoughts on this wonderful movie was.
I mean,
I'm gonna rate it now or like after
Maybe
everything.
you can rate it after. You gotta make them watch.
okay.
We need watch time.
I mean, outside of whatever this. So, the fan in me of Mortal Kombat enjoyed parts of this movie,
Okay.
but like if I were to say like as a movie, it's not great. It's just not a good movie.
See, we don't rate it as a movie. We rate it as our feelings.
No, I mean that's part of it. It's like my feelings towards how I feel like it stands as a film, right? Outside of me being the fanboy.
So if it
that I
wasn't
am.
a Mortal Kombat movie, but with the same premise, would you give it a higher score?
No, it's a pretty
or the
shit movie.
same?
No, it's a pretty
You
shit
would give
movie.
it a lesser.
Yes.
Oof.
To be honest, I feel like it's like that little fan servicey caveats that they like took the time to put into this movie that makes me kind of appreciate it.
The memes were pretty good. So every time they added a
memes,
meme,
yeah.
like 0.5 more to this.
You're like, it's so good.
And see, that's how I feel like. It's like the details they put everywhere, I appreciate as a fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to look at this as just any like movie, right?
Yeah.
It's not good.
Damn, that
It's
echoed up.
It's not a
It won't
good.
pick up.
It's not a good movie.
What are you talking about? I love my favorite parts were like when you I never watched the trailer. I just
Neither
watched
did
it
I.
to find pictures.
Yeah.
I love the parts where all the trailer is all the good parts. I love when they showed all the fatalities. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, yeah.
I feel like that's just standard practice in Hollywood trailers now.
This is the trailer practice. Period.
No, it's not always been that way.
Period.
It has not always
Period.
been that way.
Period.
No, it has not always been that way.
Period.
Tell me 2 times.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is not that way.
Okay. Which version?
Which
version?
American one.
Okay.
Too bad that movie was good.
That is a good movie.
It was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one off the top of my head that I really enjoy. Like just the trailer of. I do think the original Infinity War trailer was decent.
And the way they cut it, they still
I
showed
only,
a
I
shit
only
ton of
remember that trailer with the Code Geass opening.
Oh, for Star Wars?
Oh, it was Star Wars?
Yeah, that was Star
it
Wars.
was Star Wars. I like
No,
it.
we never talk about Star
when
Wars
they
openings.
turned it into an anime opening,
Yeah.
they used flow.
God. Well, either way, it doesn't
I
matter.
mean, there's a few if I look back, but I mean, it can be done well.
Sure.
It's just most often it's not, especially with your blockbuster film, because I think they're just trying to put the people in seats.
That's all it is. It's like, here,
Yeah.
you want to see all the cool stuff, so
Yeah.
you can come and watch
The same,
the
same
boring
things.
parts to
Yeah.
watch the cool stuff.
Which is why like I do appreciate like certain trailers and stuff that'll focus on just like the beginning of the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then there'll just be like a little snippet of what comes later. And I mean, I feel like that is a tasteful trailer.
I think we need trailers like we have backup books. It's just a fucking block of text and the picture in the front. You're like, if you want to watch this, come in.
Who I miss is this summer.
This summer.
See, at least when he was on there,
In a world.
when he was doing it, at least there was like the quick scene that
Yeah.
was like a millisecond
Uh-huh.
of video, and then some word.
Well, it's almost
See,
like it's
old
almost
school.
it's almost like you guys ever watch like anime trailers like
No.
for shows?
I don't
Yes.
have time for that.
No,
I
I mean
have 20 seconds.
No, I don't
because
give
they're
a
super
shit.
short. But I think like 80% of them is text,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple seats.
Yeah. Or they use like manga panels, like collage.
But to me, like when I do anime, it's I look at the picture,
Yeah.
and then I read the description. Like I'm doing
No,
the book.
I mean, I
That's
understand.
all we need.
But some,
Picture
I
of
mean
book.
sometimes it just comes up on my YouTube recommended for stuff that's coming like 2 seasons in advance.
I understand that. And
Yeah.
I hit I don't care, and then I move on.
Well, for me, it's almost like you know how you like scroll through, and like if you scroll through on the app, it'll
Yeah,
just start
it starts
playing
playing the
the video.
video weirdly. I
yeah,
hate that.
It'll start doing that. And sometimes like it's only like 20 seconds,
Yeah.
and I'll just let it go, and then I'll keep scrolling.
Just like, I do
I've-
like the like preview. Does it look interesting? This 20 seconds.
Well, it's not even like a preview. It's like it just starts the video.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like
On the
some
phone,
No,
it starts.
it's
it.
not like highlights.
No.
It just starts the
It's
video.
like if you do it
I
on
don't like that.
yeah, if you do it on your computer, you scroll over and it gives you like 6 frames maybe.
Yeah.
No, on the phone it's just like starts playing and if you don't have your subtitles on, it doesn't show it. If you have your subtitles on, it'll show it. So I don't know why you'd sit there and watch something that has no subtitles. I guess if you're one of those like I guess if it's like a TikTok type thing
Yeah.
where it's like 10 seconds and it's just a video. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, why is my 2-hour video playing with no subtitles?
I think what I do normally is I'll click a random video because
Yeah.
if a video is queued,
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
it doesn't
do
do
it.
that, yeah.
So I'll just click on a random video, pause it,
Like-
and then I scroll.
I just normally scroll fast enough.
I don't have that struggle.
No.
But would you rather have like fake footage in a commercial, in a trailer?
See, the
That
thing
makes
the
it
thing
worse.
is the thing is I I don't feel like because there's trailers that you'll see footage that doesn't make it into the film. I don't think that's a question of fake footage as much as that footage exists.
Okay, it's like extended edition.
Well, it's not even I mean,
Oh my god. If it's film, motherfucker, would you rather have that in it or not? That is the question.
I don't care.
Okay, nor do I.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, too.
But then it's not spoiling the movie because it's not in the movie, but it is.
It's not in the movie.
I think
it was in the movie.
I mean, for me, one of the biggest examples, right, is like Rogue One, right? Because you get the trailer for Rogue One, which I feel like is a pretty good trailer. I don't feel like it shows everything, but then again, half of it didn't make it into the final film, right? Because it was reshot.
Was it?
Before, yeah, it was reshot. It went through. Disney called for extensive reshoots
They didn't
for
like it.
reasons.
Reason.
It wasn't PG enough.
Yeah,
Probably.
It was too mature. I
even though, I mean, spoilers. Everybody dies, right? So
What? How's that one guy having a show then?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Magic.
Well, it's like, why is there a Black Widow movie?
What happened?
Don't worry about it.
I love her.
But
She's
I
my
mean,
favorite.
but that's one of the major examples, right? And I mean, it's funny because you look at some of the clips that were in that trailer, and like you watch the movie, and you're just like, where was that? What?
See,
Like, it just feels like it was going to be a completely different film.
See, I almost like that better though. Either way, if you shoot the trailer as a different movie, that's a little like messed up.
Yeah.
But if you add stuff that isn't in the thing, it's fine. Because normally when I go into the movie, I kind of blank out on stuff I've seen, and I try to do that at least. But if it has stuff that's already in it, it kind of, I don't know, it's annoying. It's just it's like the Star Wars one's the biggest one. Is it episode 2, 1 with Darth Maul? 1, where he pulls out the lightsaber, shoots out the one, and you're like, ah, cool, and shoots out the 2, you're like, that's so cool, and that's the biggest scene in the movie. And you're like, oh, yeah, and you're like, cool, thank God they showed that.
It's like, I think, have you seen Quarantine?
Yes.
So the promotional poster was the last scene of the movie.
Oh,
Oh my
it's in the
God.
trailer because I remember
Yeah.
seeing the trailer and I remember seeing that scene and I watched the movie like that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the most egregious like examples of this was the Batman v Superman trailer. It was like 2.5 minutes long.
That's the whole
And it
movie.
showed everything.
That's
it showed
like fucking
Doomsday at the
10%
end
of the movie.
and the Wonder Woman thing. I'm just like, what is that?
You could have watched that trailer. You could have watched the whole movie.
You know what's a funny rabbit hole I like going down? Have you ever seen? No. Like, well, yes, but you ever see people who re-edit them to make it like a completely different genre of movie?
Yeah. I like the
I've
Harry
heard
Potter
of them,
ones.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the power of editing in films, right? It's like I think one that I thought was really funny is they made a Dumb and Dumber look like a thriller.
Yeah.
What was another one? They made a Monty Python look like an action movie, like one of those epic fantasy action movies.
That's an easy one, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just like the Harry Potter is like a school drama or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's an easy one, too, I think.
I feel like it's just
Most
an
of them
interesting
are-
thing. Yeah.
Most of them you just take a comedy movie and then just grab the actual elements from it. And I think it's easy that way. Doing the other way might be hard, though. Making
horror to
something
comedy.
serious into comedy.
It's
a little harder.
probably
Just
possible.
Oh,
insert
it's
laugh track.
possible, yeah.
That
I think
might
it's
be-
harder to steal, grab
yeah.
footage from.
I feel like it does make it
Yeah.
difficult. I mean, at that point, you'd probably have to throw some extra color correction filters on there.
Part of
and-
the actual movie, too, that were in the trailer.
Yeah,
You'd
or
have to
you
do
just
all
try
that
to do what
shit.
Josh Whedon did with Justice League, right?
Oh
Originally.
my God.
We don't talk about that guy. So did you like the movie?
So, anyway, about this
sorry,
movie,
yeah.
Since, we went on a tangent. I don't know, this movie was interesting, how they showed all these characters, and you're like, oh, this... First, I didn't know this movie was going to be multiple parts.
Oh, there was gonna
I
be.
thought this was gonna be
I
like
didn't know until 2 days ago. When
I didn't
saw
know-
Sub-Zero guys.
I didn't know
signed
un-
for
oh,
the
four
same,
movies.
Yeah.
but I thought that just meant this movie will end, the
Yes.
Mortal Kombat thing will end, and then they'll do second arc of Mortal Kombat, the next
Kind of like
fight.
how the original ran through it.
Yeah, like how a normal game or how
Yeah.
the movie.
Like it was
yeah.
just gonna go like how the games go.
It's like, hey, first Mortal Kombat, boom. Next Mortal Kombat. I feel like what's gonna happen is you're gonna have like 1 through 3 is gonna be the lead up to Mortal Kombat, and the 4 is gonna be the main one.
I don't know. I feel like it might take like the game approach to it a little bit, where they're just gonna extend Mortal Kombat out.
Yeah.
Right? So the next film goes into Mortal Kombat with whatever your other characters.
Oh, I hope they don't do a
throw
3-part
in it.
fucking Mortal Kombat.
I feel like it's going to be something, maybe
dude,
something like that. I don't know. It's weird because I haven't played like the games in
Dude,
forever.
when you play Mortal Kombat, the fight's only like a minute long. Like, what are they gonna do?
Unless you keep losing.
I don't know, man. I've seen enough anime to. I mean, you could
I swear to God,
you could
if I
have
see-
Goku versus
if I see
Frieza
a
for
10-minute
5
charge up
episodes.
for him to throw his goddamn whip out to get over
Yeah,
here.
with flashbacks and
I don't
the
know,
power
man.
of friendship.
You could do what they did for the slime show this past season and extend that small arc into a whole 12 episode. I'm like, bruh.
I do see next one being main character's backstory.
He's an orphan
And
from
more-
Chicago.
Yeah, and yeah,
And
like,
he's a shitty MMA fighter. What else do you need?
I think that's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
but I feel like they're gonna go into like, or his family, like lineage. And
Oh, like
stuff
why is he an
an
Oh,
orphan?
yeah.
and all that
Ah,
weird shit.
yeah,
because
possibly.
like, what else are you gonna do? As I said, you can't do a fuck. If it's gonna be a fucking 3-part series of fighting, I'm gonna shoot
Mortal-
myself.
I mean, I think
It is the best
All
part.
I
I
They
think
do
I think it depends how it's done.
What if they do
Yeah.
like a prequel to
Yeah.
Raiden?
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's how this progression's gonna go, right?
I don't feel like there's many.
I
prequels in
don't
this.
mind that. But if it's gonna be like how this movie was, I might. Because here's the thing, right? If you look at movies like that, I think a perfect example is, let's take John Wick,
Sure.
where every single movie is just fighting
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah,
I
It just
love it.
keeps on going. And I feel like if there's a way to capture that same type of energy throughout the whole thing, I mean, it's kind of hard because this
But they throw,
protagonist is so hard.
story- The problem is that in John Wick, you can throw story elements
Yeah.
within the fighting.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be like Mortal Kombat. Okay, this guy died. We're going to do some story before your next battle. It'll be in 10 minutes.
This is what's gonna be. Number 2 is gonna be the same as number 1,
Yeah.
but with different characters because they have to
Yeah.
recruit. Was it Luke Cage or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other bastards.
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna be.
Yeah, the spoilers, they
And-
fucking killed everyone, and they have to get a whole new cast of bad guys.
So they're gonna go into the and then they're gonna fight at the end. Half of them are gonna die, and they're gonna rehash that into the third
Yeah.
movie before the tournament.
I'm still tilted
Because
by that.
to be honest, I almost feel like that's what I wanted like Mortal Kombat to be. Like just from beginning to end.
Just fights.
Just high octane, just death.
Yeah, that's what I expected. It was like shit's going down, but the way they did it was so fucking
Yeah.
garbage. Because it was like normal movie backstory, blah blah blah. Oh, here's all the bad guys. We're gonna fight a group of the good guys. And you're like, oh, okay,
Throw a
they'll,
meme in here.
they'll probably lose like
Yeah.
one good guy here, and then the rest of the bad guys will die. All the good guys won, how all
Obviously.
stories win.
Yeah.
And then but it was like 10 seconds of fights. It was like legit playing the
Yeah.
game. It was like, oh, good thing he's playing CPU 1 over here, and this guy's Grandmaster. He just beat the shit.
Yeah. I don't know,
It's
man.
oh
Like,
my God.
I almost feel like I would love it if it looked or it felt like an old kung fu movie. Does that make sense? Just with magic.
The
Magic.
beginning was
Kinda see
fun.
it.
Like the first 10 minutes, 15.
Yeah.
Oh, I
With
love.
Hanzo?
Yeah. I mean, something like that just throughout is what I would hope. Almost like if you were going back and seeing something like Drunken Master or like the old Jet Li movies.
Yeah.
That's like the feeling I would have loved this to be.
I almost feel like this movie was so. I like the first part.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I did like
The last part was really good.
The last part's
with,
fun, too.
The big fight, but I did like almost like going back to Star Wars. You're in Rogue One.
Yeah.
We get Darth Vader going down the corridor, just
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
killing people.
Oh, yeah.
Sub-Zero did the exact fucking same thing, basically. And that part was fucking good. You're like, oh, he's scary as fuck through
Yeah.
this part. But then, who gives a shit? I guess he's dead. Spoilers.
I like how when he was trying to find Hanzo and his family, I'm gonna turn hail or whatever. I'm like, bro, you could just do spikes, and it's GG. well, no one's gonna hail
Well,
this area.
So now the question is, I thought this was the dumbest scene. So when he does the hail, the guy obviously goes out to save his daughter, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
He gets under the table and like, that's a little stupid. You're 2 inches away from the building. I just yank you through the
Right, the
building,
building.
right?
Yeah.
But so you know, a building's strong, right?
Supposedly, yeah.
A car's pretty weak.
Yeah.
I would not
Dude,
go
that
into
hail-
someone's fucking car.
This big, dude. I'm like, dude, if that lands just on the windshield, it's
It's
fine.
all-
I hit the
over.
windshield many
GG.
times. I'm like, it's a dunk and bounced off. I'm
If-
like,
if
what
it's
is this
bulletproof-
car?
Okay, maybe it is, dude. The guy worked for like the government,
Oh,
right?
I guess.
So the problem with bulletproofing, it's different than fucking taking a fucking piece of hail ball the size of a goddamn cinder block going through your window. Bulletproof at that point doesn't matter.
Doesn't have enough speed.
It just won't
dude.
shatter
Oh,
the
dude, because
same
it
way.
wasn't
Yeah,
like
no.
from the atmosphere. It was just like right here. Just yes.
I don't.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
slinging a sledgehammer. You know, from right here, it might kill you, but from the sky, it definitely
If you're in
will.
a car, it won't.
I was so was
I
just
mean,
like, what
there's a
the
lot of
fuck?
things in this movie that I'm just like, why?
My favorite part is when the main character is like, "Oh yeah, your family stay here because they're after me. And
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to die."
Uh-huh.
And then later it's like, "No, I want my family back. I'm gonna go visit them."
Oh,
Oh
he's
no,
the
that
worst.
bad guy showed up. Oh no,
He's the worst character by
You
far.
know what I think? You know what I think is like what I hate about. I feel so obviously, you know, like if you're gonna look at his trajectory.
What trajectory?
No. But I mean, like in the essence of like what they tried to do.
Oh,
There was.
okay.
It was like this.
Because here's the thing, and this happens a lot in a lot of mainstream movies. You take something like the hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
Which is the original
Yeah.
quintessential protagonist storyline, right?
Sure. Mm.
And I feel like this movie, it's like it tried to hit those beats, but just to hit those beats, if that makes sense, right? It's almost
Yes.
like, I mean, it's like they looked at this outline and like, okay, our character needs to do this, and this, without worrying about like the connecting tissue,
Yeah.
the in between. So there's no like, it doesn't make sense, right?
I didn't feel like there was any hero's journey there.
I-
Like I
'cause
physically
you-
watching it, there's no
Yeah.
fun. It's line. He's a bitch. He's strong. There's no like journey to get there.
No, he's still a bitch, but with armor.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. It doesn't feel like there's any journey, but I mean, if you look at it like structurally, it still does hit those same beats. It just
Kinda.
doesn't make any sense. It's like any hero's journey, you're taking from the world you know, which is the very beginning of this movie. There's introduction of the mentor. There is the call to action. There's denial of the call. Like all these things that you would see in a hero's journey does happen.
Yeah.
The main character, it just doesn't make any sense for any of it to happen
I
for
also
him.
I don't know. I still feel like it's not there because it's like they yank him away.
Yeah.
So you get the yank away, you get the master, but the master doesn't matter, so he's gone instantly. So that you get rid of
Yeah.
that
He
instantly.
didn't teach him anything. He's like, you guys can train here.
No, they did teach him. He's like, remember pain, and then you got rid of the pain thing, and then he teleported, and then it was over.
Yeah.
So if you want to say all he did is taken away, met a mentor, lost the mentor,
Yeah.
got his armor.
I know.
Nothing else in between there. It was just like, okay,
Cool.
cool.
Then like also is like, for seeing he's an MMA fighter or whatever, UFC.
Sure.
About to win, loses, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
I thought he was gonna come out.
like
of
through
nowhere
the
and just
talk,
keep
they're
the
like,
show.
I'm not the fighter I used to be. And like I would have liked if they shown when he
How
was
he
good.
used
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, and
He's
like,
doing,
and
like,
why did he get
flips and
bad?
shit.
Yeah. Like how did he get to this point where he's bad at everything he does?
No, I think the movie's main flaw to me, if we're going off of the main character,
Yeah.
is you either do the main character and everybody else's background,
Yes.
or you do everyone and no one's the main character.
What do you mean Kane was the main character?
Kane was the main character.
Kano was the most interesting character.
I love Kane.
Rip
Best
this
boy.
boy.
Best boy and best boy. Both died.
It's like the horrible problem like in some anime, right, where the side characters are more interesting than the main character.
Yeah.
That's most anime.
Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm looking at you.
Never forget. Yeah, but I said my main flaw was it's like, so you're obviously trying to push this one guy's story arc because
Yeah.
he's trying to be the main character.
Yeah.
But whenever he was on screen, which I don't feel like he was even on like the most. I'd argue fucking Sub-Zero was obviously on the
Yeah.
most, which is weird to say. But It's like all the stuff that they were pushing him through was just like
The main character had no lines.
You know what this reminds me of? Actually, just thinking about it, like it's the parallels are just mind-boggling.
Jujutsu?
Right? No.
Oh.
Another movie, which is also a video game movie, which has a
Sonic.
very similar problem.
Sonic.
No, which we haven't fully seen yet either, but I kind of don't want to watch it anyway.
Mario and Luigi?
No. A newer movie, very new, like this year new. Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, we are gonna watch that.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
No, but I mean, from what I've heard, Monster Hunter has a very similar issue
Yeah.
in the sense that you're introducing a character outside of the lore of what the game is,
It's fine.
which is what this does, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't always,
It's
which is fine, right?
Yeah.
But the issue is, I think in that one, within the context of that movie, they actually show you a monster hunter, and that character is infinitely more interesting than the main character, and it makes you wonder why that character is not the main character.
I heard there's many issues with that movie.
No,
And
there's
we
a
will-
lot, but
we
there's a
will
lot.
watch that
Yes,
one,
yeah.
and we will find
Obviously-
out.
obviously there's
who
a
the
lot.
fuck's the main character in Monster Hunter?
Some
Mila
army
Jovovich's
dude,
character.
Of
Yeah.
course she is.
Yeah, obviously.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then one of the Monster Hunter guy is he's in jujitsu, but that's beside the point. He's good in the Ong Bak movies, so we're good. We're gonna just that's what we're gonna pay attention to. Oh, speaking of what's like crazy kung fu movies, like Ong Bak is a good example of kind of how I would wish this would be.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm disappointed that that one Asian guy, he's like fat in that movie and he's like really good.
And which one?
He's like, they're in Japan. What's his name? He's in Rogue One.
Donnie Yen?
Yeah, that guy. I
You
was
say
hoping
fat guy?
he was.
Well, we entered the fat dragon.
Oh,
Dragon,
I was half a second. I'm like, what martial artist is
No,
fat?
it took me a couple seconds, and I was like,
I'm like, where's the correlation here?
he's not describing an actor. He's describing an actor in a
yeah, that makes more
I
sense.
forgot the name. But I was hoping that guy would be in this movie.
Donnie Yen would be good, but I don't know where I'd put him.
I don't. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of like the martial
know.
artist like staple actors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to decide.
The problem is Raiden didn't have any fights. He didn't even fucking fight the other bad guy.
He looked like Gandalf.
Shang
Shang Lao? Shang
Tsung?
Shang Tsung.
Tsung?
I don't fucking know.
Shang
That
Tsung,
guy.
I think,
I'll
yeah.
cut that. I got you.
Lord Ozai.
Lord Ozai, yeah.
The guy in Batman. Because that's who he is.
You mean
He's the Asian guy in
Ricky
Batman.
Tan.
I thought he was Ricky Tan. I was like, I know this face. I
wish
can't
it was.
remember what movie it was. For some reason, I thought it was Rush Hour. It's not Rush Hour. It's The Dark Knight. But
So I'm fine with the casting in this movie. I felt like
no, it's
I
fine.
felt like everyone was fine.
Yeah.
Except just they read the main boy like bad. I don't even know who he is still. What he does.
He didn't have to be in this movie.
No,
I feel
I almost wish it was like the original movies and like Liu Kang was the protagonist again.
I almost feel like there's gonna be a training arc again in the next movie about him like learning how to use his new power. That's gonna obviously besides make the weird
His power's so shitty, dude.
whatever those fucking things are called, the batons.
Yeah.
I can't remember the full names for
Yeah.
them.
Those batons cut through fucking shit. I
Of
thought they were
course.
knives at first.
Well, they do have. They
There's
have blades
there
on
are
the
blades
one.
on them.
Oh,
one-
that was just a stick.
No,
How
there's
is he cutting
there's
through
blades
this?
on
I
them.
think one was round and one had.
Oh,
a
one has a
blade.
blade.
Oh, I'm just like, this makes no sense.
But I think because I feel like this one he unlocked his power. Next one he's gonna learn how to use his power, and then the third one it's gonna change and his power's gonna be even more stronger than fucking Raiden's.
OP.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's gonna
my
stab
God.
you, and then he's gonna be like, "Get over here!" And then he freezes to
Dude.
death all at the same time.
No. On the second one, he's gonna die, and he's gonna train with Scorpion
In hell.
in hell, and then he's gonna come
No.
back like, "Hey, family."
No, so what's gonna? That's what's gonna happen. That is big brain. So Sub-Zero comes back from hell,
and kills him.
both of them. They both do a training arc in hell to come back to kill Sub-Zero. Right? Oh, I just realized. Sorry, you have two. So
Uh-huh.
Sub-Zero and Kane come back from hell. The two best characters in all the movies. And that's what it's going to be, Sub-Zero dies in Kane, they come back, they kill fucking Scorpion and the shit boy, and they flip, and they just keep flipping.
And in the end, the fourth movie is the final like bang bang after they both die twice.
And then they all die.
So what I'm hearing, by the fourth movie, we're gonna have a fight against a really shitty looking CG dragon.
Yeah.
Have you seen Annihilation?
Yes.
That's how it's gonna end. They're gonna be like, we have to be friends, and then they're gonna fight the dragon.
No, please, don't do that.
Well, they'll introduce what is his name, Shao Kahn or whatever, the guy that turns into the dragon.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fucking great. Is when they do the. It's like, you know how they're fighting each other, and then the bigger enemy comes. We have to team up.
When movies do that shit, dude. This whole like, yeah, I fucking hate you, but there's this other guy. Let's be friends for just this little time, and fuck this guy up.
And then they'll fuck him up, and then they'll be like, we're cool, and then they'll go back.
I almost feel like it's like the bitch way out. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, because the thing is, obviously, no one wants to make like a stand for a side, right?
Like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, sure. Like sure, or BDS or whatever.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
BDSM,
Yeah, BDSM. I mean,
band?
I feel like you have to be a masochist if you enjoy that movie. But
or BDSM.
Wait, which movie?
BDS.
I what?
So I mean, it's like because it's the easy thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, well, because no studio, right? No writer wants to be like, I think Superman is better, or I think Batman is better, or I think Godzilla should win, or because so it's really easy just to be like, yeah, we'll let them duke it out a little bit, and then we'll bring them together because then we're not taking a side, right?
Yeah.
Then it's not, and it's just such a, it just is such a horrible way out. Where I mean, it's always nice when you have like a clear victor to something, because I feel like it cheapens the story so much when that's not the case, especially when it's not like something when it's not something that's set up from way before, right? It just comes out of nowhere. How like Doomsday came out in that movie, or Mechagodzilla, even though they teased Mechagodzilla, but I mean, it's like,
yeah, right.
Sure.
I don't like that, because I mean, even if you watch the original Godzilla and Kong, there is, depending what country you went to, right? At least there was a clear victor in each film.
I'd almost rather have that where you just shoot both of them and there's always a winner.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
and I feel like I mean I like Mechagodzilla as a character in its movie. I mean I like Mecha, so
he likes robots.
I
like
he
robots.
He's got an issue.
But I think it's a character I appreciate just by itself, like its own.
I'd rather
You have Godzilla, Godzilla versus.
Then have this weird in between.
No, that's what I mean. Like
fuck off.
I feel like it does a disservice to that character as well, and it's like in the lore of that, in that universe. But that's whatever's. But that's something like I hate. Like you said, I hate so much in those movies.
Yeah,
it tilts me.
It tilts me horribly.
So I'd like to hear your review of this movie.
Give it a solid 5. It's entertaining.
I'll give it a 6.
It has cool fight scenes.
I'll give it a 6.
But the story is so shit.
I have 2 answers. My personal answer, it's a 1 because it killed off.
I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan, so I'm just like unbiased towards the movie.
Yeah.
But
So I'm not super Mortal Kombat, but there is a few characters I like. But as a movie, I'd almost give it
It's like
a
if they
4.
kill Zangief.
oof. Those are fighting words, dude.
That's what they did.
Like if they killed Zangief.
I give it a 4 because I thought the fight scenes were pretty bad, except for the 2 ninjas.
It's
At the end, oh, that was
Even in the beginning, they were good.
you're right.
I feel like there's such a weird disparity on like fighting choreography in this movie. You know what it reminds me of? When we watched Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah.
Where you had some fight scenes that were just god tier. They're glorious.
Then you had other scenes where you knew the person has never thrown a punch in their life.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I'm gonna punch you. You gotta block it. You gotta block it.
And the pace,
Like,
when
oh
the
my
pacing of
God.
the fight is so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's like, that was their best take. Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure I saw that guy punch, and then, like, he didn't react, so he waited, and then he went for the full punch.
So that's why you let the stunt double do everything, dude.
Fuck him. Anyway,
I feel like the main character should have died in that fight with the one chick with the weird teeth or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She totally had the upper hand. She could just teleport, and the dude's like, I don't know what's going on, and she still lost.
Well, she didn't want to kill her because she wasn't chosen blood.
No. It was the not the girl, but the dude was fighting her. Like,
Oh,
at the end. And then Sonya showed up. And she's like,
yeah, blasted him.
Yeah. Cheating.
And talking about cheating, we have another movie we watched. I don't know where the cheating's coming from, but
Brilliant segue, Forrest.
oh, thank you. But what was that one called?
Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid.
I was gonna say Sonic Kid for some reason.
Cue the synthwave music.
That's pretty much what this movie was. It was like a synthwave music video.
Yeah,
It was. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It's on Shudder.
It's funny. I mean, there's a bunch of movies I could think of in like just comparison. You haven't seen one of them, which you should.
Which one is it?
Kung Fury.
No.
It's only half an hour. It's great, but it's the same thing. It's just 80s nostalgia on steroids.
Yeah. This was like an hour and a half of it. It's the shorter. But I didn't really like this movie. Like I said, I found that I did the thing I always talk about. I saw the picture and I read the description. I'm like, this sounds like something somebody will like in this group.
and then you looked at the reviews and like,
yeah. I looked up the reviews. It said 91. I'm like, weird.
Weird.
I'm like, I guess we'll watch it.
when I first saw, I thought it was gonna be somewhat of like that movie with Arnold, and like that Christmas movie.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, something really not like that, but that's what it reminded me of for some reason, and also reminded me of Power Rangers.
I mean, it's
I
from
can
that.
see
It's
that,
from
yeah.
that time period. Because they just brought the effects.
It's
from
Power
that time
Rangers
period.
with fountains of blood.
Great Power
Yeah.
Rangers, yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can see the references to everything from that time period, right?
Yeah.
The Mad Max,
the
the
glove.
Water World, the Warriors, all those like just post-apocalyptic gore fest,
Oh yeah.
just action movies, and that's just what it is. And you mix that with like I can't remember what that genre of Japanese media is called. The Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Power Rangers.
yeah.
There's a name
I have no
for that
clue.
genre. But
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but
now.
it's like it's like that mixed in there as well
Yeah.
with like the weird now superhero
Sendai.
dichotomy. Sendai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like a good, nice mixture of that with a beautiful synthwave soundtrack.
I agree with that. So to me, the weird parts about the movie was just like how they made it a comedy, basically, and then just like, oh, this person's interesting. The fucking chick, weird as fuck.
Oh, she's like, oh man, this is crazy, and oh, she's a robot. Whoa, what a surprise!
And then in my head, I'm like, who the fuck programmed her? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
They wanted a manic pixie dream girl, dude.
Pretty much, that's what she was.
Uh-huh.
She was a good character. Though.
Yeah, no,
she
it's
played
just
what
good.
she did.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I don't know what I would do in this situation, but it's not what he did.
You know what else it reminds me of?
What?
The music video for Knights of Sidonia by Muse. It has that feel to it too, that weird sci-fi western-y ish kind of feel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen, the setting where they filmed most of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it in other movies.
Oh, probably.
Well, probably it's a B movie. It's probably like the same lot everyone films it. Like,
Just
are you
decided.
done? Can I go in?
I think it was filmed like I think I was looking
It's
at
Canada.
like it's Canada, right? So yeah, obviously
It
it's
has to
probably
be Canada,
it's
'cause-
probably somewhere.
Because
What was a co-production between like Canada and New Zealand? So I mean, there might be
that's true.
there's a lot of those barren landscapes like in
Fucking
New Zealand as well.
Vancouver, or-
Yeah, probably. But all
That's
I know
where
is
everyone films.
all I know is when we started the movie. I don't know if you were fully paying attention. There was like 20 fucking slides of like who produced this movie.
Ah, yeah.
I was like, it's still going. I've never heard of any of these
for
names.
almost a minute, it was just like, bam, bam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bam, 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 bam.
And it wasn't even
I've
like the
never
long
seen
ones.
any of these like
No,
sponsors.
no, obviously it's like small little studios coming together to make this thing.
It was surprisingly put together.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never looked up the budget, but I felt like it wasn't much. There's some CG parts that were probably, or not, where they put the effects in that were probably
Oh,
part of the
yeah.
budget.
But I feel like it's not like the effects are something insane, right? I mean, you're just up-resing
All it was like
Old
the
80s
glow and the
effects.
shoot of the
Uh-huh.
fucking laser beam out of his fucking wrist.
Bruh,
and the sound effects and everything just from old 80s stuff.
$60,000.
Oh, there
$60,000.
you go.
$1,000.
Holy fuck!
Because if you think about it, those sets, they probably didn't do anything to change them. All you need is some trash and stuff to, mix it up a little.
I think that what they would splurge is just on like the custom design.
There was a lot. Of,
there's
a lot of
there's
custom
that.
designs and stuff.
Obviously mannequin work for all the gore effects.
Yeah,
Because it's all old fashioned gore
Oh
effects.
yeah,
too.
it's just like the half body with the little tubes
Yeah.
and shooting
It's,
water.
it's like 80s like 80s style. It's very The Thing or very
All the squirts for like 30
Uh-huh.
seconds. Like,
or old slasher
doesn't
movies.
stop.
Kinda, yeah.
I still think my favorite scene is it's towards the end when they're doing the big battle and the guy's blowing
when they're
people's
stacking.
limbs off and like the first stack happened is like the guy's head was stuck to the legs and vice versa on the other person and then they blew up and then they stacked and you're like
I think that's the best way to lean into the ridiculousness, right? Of the
that
gore.
movie did that.
Yeah,
completely.
that's all you have to like. I appreciate movies so much that aren't afraid just to lean into the ridiculous.
Because I feel like there was like one scene that wasn't super ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was when the parents died.
Oh,
When
yeah.
when she took the razor blade to the
the chest.
to the chest, I'm like, oh, it's not like shooting blood everywhere, funny. It's like, oh, this is
Yeah.
serious.
But I do appreciate when and when you have like actors and stuff in a story that just like take this ridiculousness with a straight face
Right.
without trying to wink at the audience,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. It's just what it is. You're just watching this thing and it's just a fun time because of it.
That the guy in the mask, the skull mask.
Yeah.
I think he was by far the best
He's so
actor.
good.
He had zero
He's
lines,
so
obviously.
good.
But
So good.
as you said, he played his character so over the top.
Dude.
Like he would do the like if something's over the corner, he'd go,
Skele-
"Look at it." He'd
his
do
name.
the look real quick.
Skeletron?
Skeletron.
Skeletron?
Fuck,
Dude,
got to your name.
if they remade this movie with a higher budget, I bet you Nicolas Cage would be a great Skeletron.
Damn it. Me too. I was gonna say, I bet you I can make this movie better with $1 million extra by just putting him in it. Damn it, you beat me to it.
name of that Skeletron? It's so good.
As I said, this whole film, I'd almost give it a 9. Easily.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
This,
Yeah, easy.
I think the music really, like I said, I normally don't fully pay attention to the music in the background, but it was like the forefront of the movie, and then the rest of it was the music, blood, the rest of the movie.
But like the characters were interesting too. They weren't just like, oh, here's this fucking
random,
kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said the only weird character was the Australian guy. Is how they put him in. I liked him,
Yeah.
but he just didn't fully
the,
fit.
the Lone Ranger
Yeah.
type.
Or he
Yeah,
wasn't in
Jones.
there long enough, or they didn't explain enough
Yeah.
of his character. There's something weird about him. I thought he was fine. He was just, you're like, oh, this guy's interesting. But all in all, I'd give that movie a 9.
It was
easily.
great.
You give it a 9, 8.5. It was pretty good. I'd watch
The
it
memes
again.
in it too.
The memes are pretty good. The references are pretty
Yeah,
good.
I said one of those weird movies that you just stumble across, and I'm like, this picture looks interesting. It looks bootleg as fuck. I'll watch this 5 times.
But it doesn't look as bootleg for that budget.
No, I didn't think so.
I think what helps it is that it leans into that.
And it has
old-
famous actors for that budget.
Yeah, that's what I said when you said 60,000. You had who you had in it, or
Yeah.
at least that one famous actor.
Uh-huh.
That I was like, oh.
Well,
he's probably
what's
worth a
interesting
couple.
is some of the other actors. They're famous in they're like local fame.
Yeah.
For instance, I looked up the actress, the main actress, and she's in shows and stuff in Canada
Oh, really?
and stuff like that,
Huh.
and other like French Canadian movies
Okay.
as well. So I mean, like it's like a. You could tell it's a passion project, obviously, for something that they submitted to Sundance and
Oh, yeah.
South by Southwest and all that stuff. So you could tell it's just this passion project movie. They just wanted to make this thing.
It's
It was
definitely
cool.
interesting that they sent this to fucking Sundance. Like, I wanted to picture this as Sundance, like, type movie.
You can actually,
it
you
does.
know, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like that's the thing. Like, Sundance isn't always just like Oscar baity kind of like indie movies. It's like a why you get. I've heard some of like the greater horror movies run through there as well. You do get some like crazy stuff like this, the crazy sci-fi and stuff.
It's like
That
make
makes
A24 go through.
Yeah, most
Go
of
through
A24
Sundance.
stuff runs
through
through
there.
Sundance and stuff like that.
I can see it then.
So I guess like Sundance is just of such a variety of genre and stuff, which is cool, especially because everything there is of obviously like a lower budget, right?
Yeah. Under $1 million.
Not always.
I was
but,
gonna say
I
something
mean,
ignorant, like, man, this movie was made with less budget than Thanksgiving, and then I looked at it, I'm like, oh no, Thanksgiving was $3,000.
Thanksgiving was like the guy got a paycheck that month, and he's like, I got a movie offer.
he probably used like a camcorder.
No, he bought a phone, and he's just like, we got a camera right here, guys.
iPhone, right?
You have a camera too? We got two angles.
We got 2 angles.
We got two. It's
You
funny.
got a laptop?
It's interesting
can
because
edit it.
actually with like these cameras now, you can.
Oh, they're almost they're almost better than the thing we can record
yeah,
with now.
you can actually make really high quality
Oh yeah.
stuff.
It's like that movie. It's about this girl, and she goes into like an insane asylum or whatever because they make her think she's crazy. And that whole movie was filmed on an iPhone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that was like, it was like a big blockbuster.
I'm not surprised. I want to go back a little bit to the Thanksgiving thing since you were talking about that. I did watch
Yeah, that's right.
Headhunter.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I did watch it. So it's a very interesting movie. I'll go over just a quick plot of it. It's one actor, like legitimate one actor. Two technically, I
Does he
guess.
say anything?
He says, he talks.
Okay.
It's not it's not a Nicolas Cage movie.
Willy's Wonderland.
But so it's about a guy who loses his daughter to like monsters. Like there's legit monsters in the world, and I guess he lives next to a castle or something. So he hears a horn. They shoot him a fucking arrow, and it has like "Go hunt this down." And he just starts killing things, and he slaps the head on the wall every time. You don't see any of the killing. It's normally like you hear the horn. He's like fuck. He goes out. He goes kills the thing. He comes back. He's all like scars that are fully into him, and he's just like, because the first one he kills, I think his like whole arm is like fucked.
Oh shit.
But they have this weird magic paste that he like slaps on his arm, and it like reheals him like over time, but it makes him piss out like something thick, like not
Gross.
supposed to, because he's like struggling. But then, so he just keeps doing that. You know, you learn like what happened to his daughter a little bit, not too much, and he just keeps going out. So he finally gets the call to go kill the thing that kills his daughter. Kills it, no problem. And he doesn't put it on the wall, so he throws it to the floor. And then he goes to his daughter's grave saying, blah, blah, I killed it. Well, in that time period, the magic ooze falls down, and it regenerates the thing alive. And then he tries to hunt it down. It's literally just a fucking spine and a head, and it fucking like
The fuck?
squiggles around. It's pretty funny, but I guess it can take over skeletons or bodies and stuff. So he ends up getting into his daughter's grave.
Oof.
And takes over the skeleton of her. And something happens at the end. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but there is the ending is different than you would think.
To become
But-
friends.
But there isn't many fights. Like that's the only fight you see is at the end where he's fighting
Oh, like
her as a
most
daughter.
fights are like off screen.
Yeah, it's normally like he goes out, he kills a thing, comes back, something traumatic normally happens. Like he either takes a lot of damage, he loses his horse in another one. It's just something crazy happens.
Gotcha.
But it's very
It's very
slow.
atmospheric.
Yeah, and for a one-man movie, it's really good. I'd give it like a 7.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I don't know. Is there anything else you saw this week? Anything crazy?
Nothing crazy.
You want to hear a really shitty movie I skimmed through this week?
You just skim
Ooh.
through it.
Yeah.
Do you do what I do? The 10-second skip.
Kinda.
I love that. That's my favorite
It was
movies.
Netflix.
Okay.
It's called Eurovision.
The
The story of Fire Saga.
Oh, with fucking Chris,
With Will
Will
Ferrell.
I know what he's talking about.
It looked kind of funny.
So, as all Will Ferrell movies, right, of that vein, there's a lot of like cringe humor,
Of course.
which is very hard to go through sometimes.
I can't do cringe
Which is
humor
what I
anymore.
skipped.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just a dumb, interesting, stupid thing that I took 2 hours into like one.
Yeah. What was the movie I watched like that? It was the Hollywood. Sorry, the Hollywood kung fu one with the fat white guy.
The Chris Farley movie,
I think so.
the Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie. There's so much cringe in it. You're just like, oh my.
That's like his whole humor.
That's a lot of Chris
I know.
Farley. Although I do like Tommy Boy because the
Yeah.
the mixture of him and David Spade, I feel like does
David Space
help.
in this movie?
Huh?
David Space in this movie?
Yeah.
Damn, I've only seen it once and I just hated it.
Makes sense. I can see that.
But I did watch that. I had no idea Eurovision was a thing until I saw this movie.
You never heard of it?
No.
I've always heard of it, but I never really understood until I saw
I
it.
never
Yeah.
wanted to click on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell's in this movie. He looks kind of funny. Maybe
That's
later.
Well, the
That's
thing
my
is, I didn't
issue.
even know it was like a full blown, like it actually exists. Eurovision is a thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very popular
It's
concept.
very popular.
Yeah.
You've never?
No idea.
that blows my mind.
No idea.
That's common knowledge.
Yeah.
It is now. Although it was just, I mean, the music's interesting in it, which is kind of the whole reason I kind of was like, I still sat through it. I'm just like, this is okay. The music in it's okay.
I'm not surprised with that. I could see that.
The only movie I watched this week was Apocalypse War.
I don't even know what that
Justice
is.
League,
Justice League Dark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's really fucking good. Would recommend.
Well, I did watch one other TV show on HBO, The New Perry Mason.
Oh, okay.
I finished that.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were watching that one.
It's the detective back in the 40s, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
And so he becomes a detective. His lawyer dies. He becomes the lawyer.
Oh my
It's
God.
it's pretty crazy. And then he goes through a case that's pretty over the fucking top. Like, the case is, they think this girl killed her daughter.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, she didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. She got kidnapped and stuff. But there's also, at the same time this is happening, there's this cult going on that are trying to resurrect the kid.
Uh-huh.
And she's, like, going all crazy and shit. And then the mother's like, oh, we don't have to worry about this case in, like, a couple of days. My kid's going to be resurrected. And, you know, you can't press murder charges on a kid that's alive. So she's basically lost it.
The fuck?
And so everyone goes to the fucking the burial grounds to fucking resurrect her. So they do that. They open the coffin. Baby's gone. Just completely gone. And you're just like, what the fuck? But there's shit that goes down. It's a good movie. It's a good show.
It's very LA noir.
It is very noir.
Mixed with like just that weird pulp.
Yeah, it is a remake of a fucking 70s, 60s show.
Old show.
It
My
went on for
God.
like 14 years.
The fuck?
Yeah, but it's worth a watch, I would say.
Oh hell yeah, I do like that. I like that genre a lot.
You got a
You'd
new
probably
segment
like
for us?
What?
You got a new segment for us?
You want me to run there? All right, okay. So I guess we'll start because, you know, we've watched a lot of good shit, a lot of bad shit.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Mostly
why,
bad shit.
why don't we make our own shit, right?
Uh-huh.
So I
Yeah.
have some ideas to make our own manga / other things, pornos.
Don't
What?
steal. What?
Copyrighted.
Copyrighted.
I own all these. What day is it? I'm gonna put the copyright in.
We're watching get copyrighted.
That's
That's the whole point of this, right?
To get copyrighted?
Yeah, totally.
so we'll,
Sony is gonna watch this video because of the
the
background.
background.
And
they're
they're gonna
like,
see all your
"Take it."
ideas and make movies, and you'll be like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Guys, we gotta change the background. I'm sorry, Sub-Zero. You died anyway. So okay. So we'll start with some easy ones. So because I think this because I'm watching the 300 slime show or the max level slime show. So we changed it up a little bit.
200 years.
So you have an evil wizard that's been like ruling the land forever.
Male or
Like,
female? Wizard. No,
whatever you want.
Okay.
We can decide later. So
Okay.
he's ruling the land, but you know, he's been doing this for a couple hundred years. He's kind of tired of killing and everything. So he teleports into a new world. We'll call it like an isekai. So he teleports into this new world.
The way he says that.
He uses his voodoo magic and teleports. And everyone goes looking for him. He's gone.
Okay.
And you know, the world is up in a chaos now because he's gone. Someone's trying to take over.
Okay.
But we don't care about that world now. So we're
I
dealing
thought
with.
he was the bad guy of that world.
No, he was.
Oh.
But he's gone. So now there's new bad guys trying to take his seat. So they're fighting.
Gotcha.
But we don't give a shit about that world. That's boring.
Okay.
So now this guy just wants to, relax. So
Okay.
he goes into a world. He still has all his powers.
He becomes a McDonald's worker.
That's even better. No.
That's a show.
So I'm like, no, we can't
That's
do
a very obvious show.
But no, he just
Burger King.
he just wants to relax. So he just teleports into a nice town. We consider it the same time period where magic's still a thing.
Okay.
But he's just relaxing, and shit starts to go down in the town. He
Yeah.
kills whatever's there just
Yeah.
to fuck off. And people start now. He's like, oh, he's pretty strong. And they start to pester him, and he's just like, fuck off. And they just keep pestering him, and monsters keep just showing up, destroying the town.
Yeah.
And he just keeps dealing with it. He just starts getting pissed off. He starts to take over this whole town. He becomes the evil lord of this town.
You know what it reminds me of?
Damn it.
No. No. I mean, there's a couple things I can pull from in my head, right? The first one is a meme, right?
Okay.
There's a meme I saw, and it's just like, okay, story of a farmer, right?
Yeah.
This farmer lives in this town, right?
Okay.
He lives in this town, but adventurers come through because they, they kill monsters.
Yeah.
And they keep just taking shit because they're just like, well, we're gonna kill these monsters. You owe us, right?
Yeah.
So he hates the adventurers. So he starts setting up traps at his house to keep the adventurers away. And then he kills an adventurer,
Okay.
and he takes their stuff and he helps with the stuff to keep building up this. And then he starts digging under his house. And he starts going and he makes a dungeon. And then he learns magic because he wants to keep the adventures away.
This is a great fucking thing. This is better than what I read. God damn it.
Until he realizes, hey, he's a dungeon boss. And all these people are trying to
Oh
kill
my
him. It's just a
God.
meme I remember seeing somewhere, on some D&D subreddit.
So this is not an actual story.
No.
Write it down.
Another thing. There is a subgenre of isekai nowadays that's becoming popular,
Yeah.
where the main protagonist already has abilities before the switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
And
that's
then
a-
his abilities get taken out.
No.
He gets more abilities.
No, he just has abilities,
Okay.
which are OP compared to the world he's going to.
because when I pictured this man, he's like the old man that you see at the fucking corner.
Yeah,
Get off
yeah.
my lawn. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
he
yeah.
is. That's
Yeah.
all he is.
Uh-huh.
And he just starts to get pissed off, and he just becomes the evil wizard again.
Yeah.
In that world.
That's why I feel like it's a very, like I said, it's a very similar.
The only reason why I thought about that was because of the slime show. I'm like, I can change this up enough to make
Yeah.
it funny.
Oh, I know, dude. It's your evil lord, but he dies, gets reincarnated into our world, but he has no powers.
I might have that in here, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so
Okay.
this one,
Next one.
I thought of my own. I think everything after here is pretty much probably I've taken from something, but this is from
Okay.
my stuff.
Okay.
Monkey brain
So
story. Okay.
this is it's a cookbook. This will blow your minds. So it's a cookbook, but it's written as a manga. So what it is? So a man is transported into a world because isekai.
Sure.
And his old life, he was a chef.
Sure.
But so throughout the thing, he's like, oh, I can still make money by cooking because cooking doesn't really change too much throughout the worlds. So what he does, he starts off as a boar. He kills the boar, and then he cooks. Everyone's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Okay.
So he, you level up killing that thing.
Sure.
So next thing, he fights something stronger. And he goes, and he keeps going, and he keeps going, fighting stronger things along the way, just not stopping. He's just a traveling chef. But why we do that, we put recipes in the book of showing how he makes it, what you need, blah, blah, blah. Yes.
He's gonna share your story, dude.
I have 2 examples of that already existing.
I haven't finished.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I said he keeps leveling, or keep fighting things that get stronger.
Okay.
And then at the end, he finds out he's the strongest guy there because he just slaughters things constantly, and he's just making different types of food, just for the hell of it, because he's a chef.
Yeah. Okay, so that back part of it is technically different.
Okay.
All right. But I mean, there's two examples already
Okay.
that I can think of in my head.
So only two. That means we can be the third.
Yeah, that are
It's not
similar.
oversaturated.
out of what I've read,
And we're a cookbook motherfucker. So
that's why. That's why.
That's
Okay,
another step.
that's why. The one is very far away from that. I mean, in like the power leveling and stuff.
Yeah.
But there, I mean, it's an isekai. A dude's a
It's all
chef.
isekai.
He was a chef, right?
Okay.
And he just learns. He just uses his skills to like better a tribe that hunt like wild boar. And
Yeah, but that's just making boring shit.
Yeah. Okay. The next one
Okay.
is another guy, right?
Okay.
And the other guy, and that one I think is a lot more similar to that.
Okay.
So he goes and he has like a weird, stupid skill where he can access an online supermarket. that's beside the point,
Okay.
right?
Not even close so far is what you're saying.
No, but he uses that to get ingredients, and he just
Okay.
cooks, right?
Sure.
And through the cooking, he gains like these OP familiars, and they kind of kill bigger and bigger things for him. And he cooks that into normal foods, and there is recipes like for normal things as it goes in there as well.
Damn, they stole the recipe
Damn,
idea.
they
I'm
did.
tilted by that.
And
I thought that was like an easy
No, 'cause
snag.
there's like whole snippets where he talks about how he dices everything and
Yeah.
how he the
Damn
cooking
it, that
and-
was like the major
Yeah.
premise of like
Yeah.
stealing that story. Dude.
and
Shit on your
Shit.
story, dude.
Gross.
and then he goes and it talks about them using like dragon meat and all this
Yeah.
stuff that his familiars hunt for him, and he cooks it for him.
Yeah, see, my plan was just to have him go through.
Yeah, that's why I
He-
said that's different.
At the end, he's just a super strong guy,
Yeah.
and he's just like,
Well, it's funny
Will
because
you help us fight? I
as
just
the story
don't-
progresses too, the familiars have been forcing him to level up.
yeah.
So he's also killing things now.
Because I picture him like as a huntsman at this point.
Oh,
where
yeah,
he just
no,
hunts.
yeah, no.
Like I said, we had the dragon part. That's what I thought too. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh, he'll go hunt a dragon, and then we'll make it like a chicken dinner
Yeah.
because
And
dragons have chicken shaped
There's like
bodies.
a sea arc where they go to a coastal town and they hunt
Yeah.
sea monsters and they make seafood. Same. Yeah. Okay.
So that was
Sorry.
my big story. That was the one I want to do out of them all.
I'm
Great.
sorry. I'm
It
sorry.
already
I'm sorry.
exists.
I'm sorry,
Right.
Forrest.
Get rid of that one. Okay.
I'm sorry, Forrest.
See, some of these I wrote down, I don't remember, so I gotta read.
Which I don't know
them,
if I
so-
should be naming titles or anything as I do this, but it doesn't matter. It's
You name
whatever.
titles, it doesn't matter. Makes it easier. I can look up for reference. Yeah, not,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
plagiarizing.
That was such a stupid long title too for that last
Of course it is.
one. Well, the first one I mentioned is called like Cooking with Wild Game, which is not a ridiculously long title as far as light novels are concerned, right? The other one is just like campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill is what it's
My
called.
fucking.
Yeah, I hate it.
Still think that was my favorite one of
Oof.
what we could write.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. It's fine. All these, everything's been written.
I know, of course.
Well,
Of course.
Instead of a story, we just make a cookbook, but
Yeah.
instead of like all letters, it's all just manga panels on instructions.
It's a good idea, but I like the
Yeah.
story element.
I mean,
Otherwise, we
there's
just make a
there's
cookbook.
cookbooks that are similar. They just use pictures, right? So I
Now
mean,
you're shitting on
so-
your ideas.
so-
right?
I mean, it does. You do have the added caveat, right, of it being
This
done
is
in like
niche.
in an anime style.
Okay. Next one. Fuck you. This one's gonna blow your mind. It's not an isekai.
Okay, hell yeah,
So-
hell yeah.
Some
Okay.
reverse harem.
So
Just kidding.
okay. So the story is actually about a villain. So this villain is in a world
Okay.
where everyone has power. Everyone except for this guy. So he doesn't have powers, but he does find out a little bit later on he does have powers. But the only way he gets these powers is so during his life he gets you get bullied because you're different, right?
Sure.
So he gets bullied. He finally just flips out, right?
Okay.
Fucking kills the dude. He steals that power. So what he learns is
By
he
eating
can
his hair?
no, he just fucking kills the dude.
Okay,
He's
okay.
like the fucking the marks
Ah,
in this
yeah,
fucking shitty
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
So he does the same thing. So he
okay,
stabs
okay.
the guy. He gets the powers. So he starts just stealing all these powers from other people. Give me a second.
He becomes a killer.
He's basically a killer.
Okay.
I'll let you finish.
It does sound familiar though.
God damn it.
Just sitting here like, please go on.
I'm trying to remember where I left off kind of here. So he gets stronger, blah, blah,
Okay.
The manga starts there,
Okay.
killing, blah, blah. Or each episode. Oh, so it's either written like that, where
Uh-huh.
it's from his perspective,
Okay.
killing, or you do the One Punch Man style, where you do it's a joke.
Yeah.
Where you learn about these heroes.
Okay.
About coming up, and he's like, "Oh, this is blah blah blah," and you show like him saving someone, blah blah blah, and then at the end he gets fucking killed, and that guy gets the power, and then it moves on.
Okay, so under that frame, I would say it's very original.
God, we're good.
From that standpoint.
Okay,
If we're going from the main character standpoint,
yeah,
there's actually a light novel called Berserk of Gluttony. So it's not an isekai. It's just a fantasy, but it runs under the same pretenses of any isekai.
Oh, okay.
So in the world, everyone has skills,
Okay.
right? So the main character has a skill called gluttony,
Yeah.
which, as far as he knows, all of his life, it just makes he's really hungry.
Oh.
It just makes him really hungry.
What a shitty power!
Yeah, it makes him really hungry, and so he grew up in like some boondock village. And the village ends up throwing him out and stuff because there's famine and stuff like that, and they can't feed him because And then his like dad was a hunter and he dies. Tragic backstory. And he grows up like he goes to the city to like work because he gets kicked out of his village, and the nobles with badass skills and stuff, they pick on him and give him shit because he doesn't have skills, and then eventually these bandits come. And he's working as like a town guard, right? Because he needs money, and he kills the bandit.
Who the fuck would make him a guard if he doesn't have powers?
It's funny because what it is knights are supposed to guard, but they pay like weaklings to do it because no one attacks anyway. And they piss on him and stuff basically.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And so he kills a guy, and he realizes that skill gluttony does that thing. It steals the power of what you kill.
Fucking tilted. That was another good one of mine.
You're running like I reversed My Hero Academia.
No, I kind of thought I pictured that was the in my mind. I understood the implements of that. Whereas everyone has powers. Blah, blah, blah.
But that story just uses the RPG mechanics of it.
I say that more. My Hero doesn't show other people that don't really have it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I kind of see it.
And then Berserk it has its own little caveats from there. He gets like a sentient sword.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps him and stuff.
Of course, you throw random shit out.
So your idea is half original.
Yeah, but what I said, if you looked at it from the other perspective, because that's always a good thing too, right? Like you could take like a standard trope and you just switch perspectives on things.
Oh yeah.
And it's a completely new thing.
Yeah. Most of these are probably, as I said, already been written, and I'm just trying to grab. So I have two of them that are just like one word element.
Okay.
So transported into a body. So man dies or just isekai'd, whatever.
Yes.
So he gets transported into a man's body, and that person already has an established life and well-being, and he has to learn all the stuff that guy did and become like that man.
What happened to the man that was living in that body?
He's gone.
He's just gone. He reincarnated someone else.
Okay, so there's a couple instances of that. Obviously,
this is very basic.
There's a couple instances that they do follow different patterns.
Yeah,
and usually it involves like the switch happening to the person when they're a kid. So I'm trying to think. There's one that's
other way around. The kid dies, goes into adult body.
Yeah, see that's different. That's different. Because
there
is an isekai coming that's I think another season or two that's like that.
Okay.
The guy dies like in a bus accident or some shit.
Better yet,
but
kid dies, reincarnates in an old man's body about to die, and he reincarnates again in another old man's body about to die.
The multiple,
you just go down the rabbit hole, right?
I think the multiple reincarnation thing might be in here too.
So you're just
that's different.
That's
not something you see.
You're just living the last days of
that's depressing.
That's
depressing. If you want to make a sad boy one, that's a real good sad boy one where basically you see all your loved ones around you every day, but they're not your loved ones; they're his loved ones, and you have to play it off because he's gonna die. You have to play it off as I miss you, blah, blah, blah.
And that's where the character came in at.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Because that's another isekai that I thought of.
Fuck!
No, but not in that age gap. Like I said, it's usually on the younger side.
So, you know how when people in real life they die and they can be resuscitated, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? So during that period of the resuscitation, that's when someone like all you know is you wake up being resuscitated and you're like, where the fuck am I? And you're in a different body.
I feel like I saw something like that, but I don't remember. So we're gonna say it's original.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of like a title off the top of my head.
This is try not to get shit on by Eddie segment.
But like I said with the death one, right?
Yeah.
An isekai that I do like a lot for its world building is called Descendants of a Bookworm. It was an anime a couple seasons ago, right? It's the same thing. It's a kid, but the kid technically died because of their fever, and that's when the switch happens. Yeah.
So this is going back to like, which one was it? Oh, it was one of them. You could kind of put this in a lot of them, where we come into another world, but you have your own. You're the only one that can use magic, and you can either do it as like you can use magic and the government's chasing you, so it's almost like a cat and mouse type manga where you're trying to run away from being caught, or you could just do it as like, I have power, and he fucking flaunts the fuck out of it and use it. You can do that in multiple worlds. Like if you do the government one, it's newer. If you do the flaunt the magic, it's medieval.
Or you do both. As an example, there is another isekai I'm thinking of in my head. It's like I can't. It's like, oh fuck. It's like I can only use potions or something like that.
What?
I can't remember, but it's a lady. Lady reincarnates. Like she accidentally gets killed by a god, basically. So the god's yo, I fucked up. And so they reincarnate, but she's like, the person's like, so do you want, the lady's just like, I want something. If I'm going to be reincarnated, you fucked up, I want something. And she thinks she's going to like a high magic world. So she asks, oh, can I just make any potion in any container? And the god's like, fuck, dude, whatever. I don't fucking care. I just got to make sure the universe doesn't tear itself apart. And so she gets this. And she realizes the world has magic at a very low tier. Ooh. So she's super OP.
I like that.
And she wants to live like a quiet life, just selling potions. But her potions are too OP because they could be whatever she wants them to be.
Yeah.
So governments start like chasing her and stuff, wanting to have like her as like a patron or whatever. Because I don't know. It's interesting. It's just an interesting bit.
Another basic one.
Okay.
A person in a fantasy world gets killed, isekais into the future as a Japanese businessman. And he has to learn...
I do like this.
He has to learn how to become a businessman and rise the ranks to become a CEO.
I like this. This is new.
He said this months ago.
I never shat on it then.
Oh, I was there when he wrote it.
These are just ideas.
Like I said, I never shat on it then. No, I mean... That is something with isekai that I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see the switch, or I love to see when the switch is to something that isn't your standard Western or JRPG fantasy world. Like something like
backwards.
Well, I mean backwards is cool too because that never happens. But something like Tanya, like Saga of Tanya the Evil, where the switch isn't into your traditional JRPG. She goes into some like cool, weird, like Magitech World War I, setting, right? So I do appreciate when like that happens. One thing I did see, I mean, it's not the same at all. There's one where there's a character who can go into another world, like in his dreams, and he figures out he can actually bring people from there to the modern world.
Oh yeah.
So he brings like an elf chick.
Damn.
It's called like Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf, something like that. So I don't fucking
sounds like a good hentai.
It does.
It's wholesome. It's a wholesome story.
I'm not surprised.
But hentai.
It could very well be.
I do feel like that's a good 4. I can see it being a 4-panel comedy comic.
Yeah.
The businessman one,
Yeah.
where it's just like the first thing would be like a normal manga, and then everything else would just be 4-panel jokes. It'd be like he comes in, he's like, "What is this?" And he starts typing. He learns. He's like, "Oh, I understand."
I almost feel like he should still get some of like the bullshit isekai things, just like the normal ones. Just like you understand the language, right?
No, his power is he types super fast. Like he typed 400 words a minute.
It reminds me there is an isekai power in one. It's similar to an extent. Obviously not the same because it's not the same background. But that's actually an anime coming out, I think, next season. But his only power, I think, is he can like possess inanimate objects. Very few of them. Yeah. Okay. So he used because the whole point of that series, it's not really like the power fantasy thing. It's about politics and like administration. Yeah. So he uses it to possess pens to sign more paperwork and shit like that.
God tier power.
But eventually he could like possess dolls that he makes. He makes like a mecha dragon.
What I picture the main character in this either being two ways you can go. You can go old samurai who has like the same ways in the Japanese culture, so he understands like how he has to be, and if he doesn't do this, he basically fucked up. Or you can make it more comedy, and he's just a fucking Viking.
Yes.
He's like slowly, he's like, "What do you want?" Oh, I mean, sorry. Just learns the way of Japan.
I don't know if technically Viking would do this one. Actually, the Vikings were very calm, other than
but
warmongering.
I do picture the warmongering type guy.
Ooga booga.
Ooga. No, that's too far. He's too stupid.
I don't know what else to name that character. Did you go through Primal? Because we talked about that last episode.
I haven't seen it.
Watch it. The stories of Ooga Booga, dude. Ooga Booga and his pet dinosaur.
His pet dinosaur.
Such a good show.
Okay. We'll throw another one out. So it's another kind of basic concept.
Okay.
So it's crazy. You know, people get isekai'd all the fucking time.
Yes.
So what happens is they get transported. But this world is the opposite of most worlds. You know, most worlds you can slowly level up. No, it's like you go in and you're fighting like instantly dragons. Like there's no low-level creatures. And you can either go two ways. You can have the weak guy slowly glow through the ranks by just somehow surviving, and you can have him. he max levels his like points by fucking I don't know being a blacksmith or a cook or something weird like that. Or you can go the opposite route where all the people are getting isekai'd, and you follow monsters as the main character. So you see this new person come in and just fucking get slaughtered. And you just follow the monsters going around, just killing all these new people that poof in, just killing people.
Almost like Overlord in a weird way, or
like Overlord.
Yeah, like you're seeing the perspective of what would be
the villain, yeah.
Or like the slime show, for instance.
But I was picturing more of just like you'd see some weird goblin or something just going around like it'd be like if we poofed into a world wearing this, and there's a goblin in front of us with a sword. You're like, oh shit.
Bro, I know it's an isekai. It's a guy, he dies, he reincarnates as a bacteria, but it's like
it's not the weirdest thing I've seen
in a world that's barely starting. So you see this guy evolving into he becomes a human, right? So he's already advanced. When he gets to that point, he's like, "Bro, I got you guys. It's weird, fire."
So the story is going over the course of millions of years of existence.
Yes. He's an immortal being.
I dig it. I just thought of something, and I don't remember where I was going to go with it when you spoke. I was thinking of weird isekai ideas, right? Because there's always fucking weird ones, dude. You know which one is like the weirdest one to me?
Is it I was gonna say hot tub.
Yes, that one.
It's either that one or the vending machine one. Those are
the vending machine's whatever. It's that one.
Onsen. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, you talked about that one before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It gets funky.
To me, all that is a poor.
That's what it is.
Dude.
Basically.
I'm gonna guess the premise. So he becomes a hot spring, but he's a hot spring of water. It's tentacle porn. He just uses like the hot spring as a penis. If that's not it, I just wrote a great fucking.
It's a beautiful doujin. It's almost like did you ever? There's a ecchi anime. It's not the hot like a hot. It's a guy who ends up in a hot tub with like a ghost.
Yeah.
What?
That's that was what's it? Are you talking about hentai or no?
No. It's a show.
Was it that? It was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
He's like an exorcist.
Yeah.
It was a couple of years ago.
Has big tits, and then there's
chick.
the Oni.
Yeah. Okay, because there's an OVA, right?
Yeah.
Where he gets magically turned to soap.
Yeah, I know. He's on her body.
On all of them.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of the show. I did watch that show. That's the one of few
my fucking god
shows I watched.
And you can watch the uncensored version. It's basically just
it's just porn.
Yeah, it's just porn.
Like we do it here. Okay. Anyway, this is going back to one that you talked about. So it's an isekai where the main character, every time he dies, transports into a new isekai world with like new laws and new stuff. So like, he starts off as a normal human, dies tragically, some bullshit, and then he goes into a fantasy world, and he doesn't really understand the power. He gets fucking killed by a slime. Transports into kind of like a Star Wars world. And fucking everybody with ray guns. He's starting to learn the thing. Fucking gets shot. He transports into this. So he keeps rotating through. But I'd say there's a certain point where it resets him, basically. Not to human. But it'll reset him to the first world. So he starts to power up there again, dies, and then it goes through. So he starts becoming the strongest throughout each of the worlds.
Oh, okay.
So at the end, basically, he'll probably end up in one as the strongest, but understanding, you can either have him bring the powers through all the worlds, or he just becomes really strong in the one.
No.
Look at him. Like,
no. Actually, there was a. This is an idea that popped up in my head. It's very similar because that's another idea that I always thought was very interesting to pursue. Yeah. The idea of what happens if you can bounce around multiple worlds, right? And this is an idea I had for like a bit ago. It was an idea for like a game, like a platform. I wanted it to be like a Metroidvania in a weird way. So you'd have a character who dies in the modern world and goes into like, and it was, instead of like all the multiples that he said, it was just going to be divided into 3 worlds. It was going to be one world that was very medieval fantasy, one world that was like very steampunky fantasy, and then one world that was like post-apocalyptic. And so the main character would die, go to the first world, go through whatever's, and start to level up, and then the same thing. But in the in-between, they would be visited by a goddess or whatever's, right? The traditional isekai trope. And eventually, after going through like the 3 worlds, they realize it's all like the same one. And there's like weird, stupid shit happening with the goddesses and stuff. And then eventually they would get like an artifact that they can just like transport to each one, like in that spot, and do weird shit with it. For a game, I thought it would just been cool mechanics for like a Metroidvania where you're in a place and like, let's say there's a wall, but you could just instantly go to another world and that wall isn't there anymore. Yeah. And you can do stuff like that as a version of it that I thought would be perfect for a game mechanic. But I do like the idea of like the multiple worlds.
I do realize what I could, like, going off of that basis is at the end, he basically just becomes God, and he just deals with all the universes, and then he isekais people to different places. That's one of them. And this is like the last one. This is the first one I probably wrote on here. So it's... So you can either go in 2 different directions if you're trying to imagine which audience you're trying to hit.
Okay.
So you go believe I can't believe I fell in love with. You can either go with childhood friend, or you can go sister. The usual.
Anime
in this fantasy world. So what happens is some crazy. So the usual isekai moment. Both of them are walking together. Bam! They die by the usual truck. And
they switch bodies.
No. Oh. They just go
Freaky Friday.
So they just go into a fantasy world, and they learn, and you meet.
Same world?
Maybe we don't know yet.
Okay.
So they go into this world. They don't know. They don't see each other. They look totally different.
Oh no!
I see where you.
Oh no!
And he starts just they start leveling up, powering, and at one point they just meet each other, fall in love. Boom! There's the premise of the thing.
How do they find out they're related?
Well, I don't
know. Oh
no! They probably find out. I don't think I have it written down. I do have it written down. Is one of the person would say, he's like, well, you won't believe this, and they'll say what happened to them. Like, I died in this world.
Okay.
And the other person will be like, no shit, and then they'll find out that they're the brother and sister or childhood friend. But
that is a slight variation on one of the ones I mentioned earlier, where the main character gets killed in a bus accident, right? And he gets transported into the body of a kid. Well, there's 2 other people on the bus with him, who also get reincarnated as different people in there. but it's not quite the same. I mean, there's no real romance element.
But I
there
feel like the childhood friend would be easier to write because there could have been a relative interest before, and it's just wholesome at that point, and then they just go do their fighting. But the sister thing's just spicy because it's Japan. Why not throw that thing in there?
Anime.
But then I have it's like you could have the weird disparities. He's weak and she's strong. Shows him up, and that's how they meet. Like. He slays some random creature by luck, like he's in the forest and he stabs something.
Player.
You can do some bullshit like that.
I'm so excited for solo leveling now that you said that.
It's so fucking good, dude.
That's beside the point.
That's my my weird story ideas.
Eddie only shined for like 75% of those.
So, but all I know is all the good ones I wanted to write, garbage. Already taken. But, that's fine. I'm still gonna write those. Maybe one day.
I mean, like I said, it's just
there's so many out there. It doesn't matter.
No, it's just like what you do with the idea.
It's trying to get the niche, the one niche that isn't fully taken yet.
And I feel like the certain things within like anime in general or like novels have like pigeonholed themselves into such like tight corners.
Yeah.
That there's so much more to explore. And it's funny because when you look at like what light novels used to be before, the isekai craze, there's so much, most of it's supernatural, but there's so much just like weirdness and stuff that it'd be so cool to see a little bit of that, like, leak through.
Or if we want to continue like having an infinite like manga, like One Piece, what we do is, so I have this great idea. So it's 2 people get killed, right? Brother and sister. They start to, fall in love. But they fall in love in this world where the monsters are super strong. But before they were chefs, so they start cooking, they start at the max level, but they die and they transport to another world where they have to become a businessman, go all the way through, but he jumps off a building because he can't stand his life anymore. Which then he teleports into a world where his father died, I guess, and I can't go any farther.
I thought you were going to go through your whole list.
I was going to, but then I forgot some of them, and I was like, I'm just going to end it
When
here.
you started, I'm like, oh, I see where he's going. For a second, I'm like,
Infinite manga.
When you started, I'm like, did he plan this in his head before this? I'm like,
No,
is he going to go through the whole thing?
I forgot.
I thought you were just going to seamlessly meander through all of your ideas.
He just winged it.
It was my last few. I couldn't remember.
But then he gave up halfway through.
Oh, is the villain? Then he becomes a villain by killing all and getting all their powers, and then he retires to become an evil wizard, and then done. End of the manga. I think I hit them all, or at least like.
But you said it wasn't going to end.
Yeah, but he becomes a retired wizard, but because he can't become retired, he has to rule that world. But then he wants to retire later on, so he becomes another ruler of another world. Then it just keeps going on forever.
Which popular manga has like the weakest side character?
What do you mean?
Side character or main character?
Side character. It has like the lamest side character.
I don't know. That's a good question. I can tell you the weakest main character.
Ready? Hot take. Fairy Tail. I'm just kidding. I have
Fairy
no idea.
Tail?
I just don't
I
like
don't
Fairy
know.
Tail, so it doesn't matter. It's not that that's not true.
Okay.
I'm just that's me being egregious.
The manga's over, right?
Fairy Tail?
Fairy Tail?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
There's this guy. He dies. He's reincarnated as Happy from Fairy Tail. So you already know what the fuck's going on because he was a fan, obviously.
Sounds like a weird fan fiction to me.
I'll do it here.
It's self-insert fan fiction.
I got another shitty one. So he dies. He reincarnates as one of the fucking mascots of one of the animes, and he's just a mascot.
Ooh.
So like he's whatever you said, Happy or whatever bullshit. And then Happy dies, he becomes another mascot.
Oh,
he just fucking falls around.
You reincarnate as the turtle from Dragon Ball.
Oh, no. You die, you reincarnate as a Dragon Ball. In the whole movies, the whole manga is you just sit there until you're found. And then you're found, but you're the last ball, and then you're granted as a wish and you disappear. Right?
You
can send back, and then you just wait until you're picked up again.
Oh,
you
fuck.
die, you get reincarnated as a Namekian when Frieza shows up, so you already know you're gonna fucking die. You're just gonna win. Well, no one believes you that this guy is gonna die.
You get reincarnated as Yamcha. In the
Yeah.
pose.
In the pose. It's like that fucking. It's like in Hitchhikers the fucking like when they do the infinite possibility drive, and the fucking whale just appears. And it goes through the monologue of the whale before it hits the floor and it dies.
Well, I do think what would be funny would be so like when you get transported in the Isekai world, you kind of go through like some bullshit tunnel, we'll say.
Yeah.
But it'll be funny to do like the God is stupid kind of, but it jams you. It's like, oh, we'll send you to this world. And it's like, you can take over this body. And you see fucking, like, freeze, or, I don't know, some god with, like, a big fireball throwing it down at you at that, like, last moment. And you die. He's like, oops, I'm sorry, wrong world. Just pushes you to the next one where you're being shot. And you're like, oh, my God. Or the guy's like, I can't find the right world. Just something stupid like that. But,
Copyrighted.
CC, here we go. But, I don't know. Those are my ideas. We'll talk about which one to write after this.
Absolutely brilliant.
Ooh, another one. I have one more. So
Okay.
You get transported into a world that's called Call of Duty Zombies. But you play up to round 34, and then the game crashes.
Yeah.
And you're like, no! But then you load it up. But you don't. You have all the crystals are gone. You did hour and a half, gone, tilted.
I mean, at least, how like memeing around, we're just throwing like the self-insert fan fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to feel horrible about it. Some of the biggest pieces of classical literature are exactly that.
Of course they are.
They are.
Where you use the main character as yourself.
Like the Divine Comedy is probably one of the oldest, biggest pieces of self-insert fan fiction that you could possibly read. And look, it's a classic. So I believe in you, Bob.
Yeah.
You do that self-insert.
Best turtle.
You do that thing.
I'm gonna turn Dragon Ball into a scary show.
Yeah, turn it into a horror, dude.
Yeah.
You ever have that idea in your head? You watch a show and you wonder, like, what would it be like if you could fuck with a world just with infinite?
This is how Brightburn came to
Whatever.
be. That was shit.
Huh?
This is how Brightburn came to be.
No. I mean, like I don't know. It's just like completely try to switch the genre, like, but tastefully. Obviously, the idea of Brightburn is good. The execution of Brightburn is not.
What?
But I mean, this is true of any story, right? Mm-hmm. Like I can tell you probably a bunch of ideas that I think are really good, where the execution was not very good at all. Which I feel like is a lot of what we watch. So
what are you talking about? Nah, we just write one. Fuck it. We don't care if it's copyrighted. We'll copyright over their copyright.
Their copyright will.
We'll call it Tail Fairy.
Ooh. What's another word for tail?
Zero Eden.
Oh, spicy.
Hey. Hey.
We're towards the end. We normally do news, but there's no good news.
There's no good news.
I guess Parasite is going to be an HBO thing, by the way. TV show, in case you don't know.
Like the movie?
The movie, yeah.
They're going to make it a show?
Yeah.
Why?
But it's in the same universe. Different thing.
Okay.
It's a different family scamming another family.
I don't fucking know. That's like my one news article. So I'm going to change it up. Today's what Forrest mom is watching.
Okay.
So she watched Kiki's Delivery Service for the first time.
Oh, wow.
She said it was good. She liked it.
Okay.
She also watched High Rise
Invaders?
Yeah.
Damn.
She liked it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like, interesting. Well, I'm surprised you liked that because it's
They
pretty
missed the
brutal.
helicopter at the end. There you go. Spoilers.
Flip the table.
Wow. But that's what Forrest mom is watching.
That should be a new segment.
What Forrest mom's watching.
Except we don't have news. I got the house slammed. So you're welcome.
This should be like a title card, right? Every time too, just a little jingle. What Forrest mom's watching. Yeah.
We'll get her on phone. Just put her in. What are you watching?
Surprise guest.
I'll call her, but don't tell her. It's like, Mom, my friends want to know what you're watching. She'll love that.
What would you rate it?
She said 10. It's crazy. Yeah, that's all I got for the. Unless you guys got anything,
No, dude.
any stories, any complaints?
Not any stories besides the one man that got arrested for defrauding his 35 girlfriends in Japan. How do you have 35 girlfriends?
How do you not?
And how do you scam all of them at the same time? No idea.
I mean,
Maybe he goes out for dinner like every day, and he's like, I go out with breakfast with her, lunch with her, dinner with her. So that's 3 people right there. You meet one of them each a month.
My God. But does he fuck all of them?
After
I don't
every
know.
meal.
I mean, it's Japan, right? So
No.
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 Just kidding.
There's no hand holding. It's only dinner.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Platonic girlfriends.
Spicy.
Spicy.
That's a good manga.
Spicy take.
No. We'll call it 35 versus 1. 35 girlfriends. He tries to hide them all from each other.
Oh, that'd be a good reality TV show.
It's like something you'd find on TLC.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna pitch it to them. Hey.
Hey, I know this guy.
I'm way ahead of you. They already have it. I'm just kidding.
You know 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah.
35.
35v1.
They're in different countries. So he has to get 35 visas to get him here.
Oh no! Why? Brilliant. We've reached peak entertainment.
Well, after that, thanks for watching. You can check us out. Instagram's here. Etsy here.
Somewhere up here, right?
If you want to support
Right
us,
up
no, that's way too high. Way too high.
That's off screen.
Right here? Right here?
I think so.
Right here.
I'm gonna put it so it's like over his face, just for that. But yeah, if you want to help us there, tell a friend, subscribe.
Like, comment, whatever.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Are we gonna do that thing where you just like over the course of the video, every so often there's a subliminal subscribe.
We put background music, but it's just like a whisper subscribe in a tone.
So it's a tone that the human ear can't normally pick up, but it still does pick up. So in your head, subliminally, you just hear subscribe.
Well, since we probably went longer than our little things, they're still here now. They probably weren't there a few seconds ago, but they are now. Bye.